alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. A ton to get to today. This is one of those mornings I woke up as a content creator. I'm like, okay, I have a busy day outside of Raid Shadow Legends. How am I going to cover this? I want to do an updated Whirlum guide, an updated Physics guide. I want to talk about the new arena changes. I want to talk about the 10-time champions. And I want to talk about the level 25 dungeons, which I've just completed, but I have to go back in there and try to find more creative teams rather than just throwing my very best champions on my pay-to-win account at you guys. Anyway, a lot to get to. I decided to kind of cover this silver cost reduction and the 10 times event first because that is the most newsworthy. We'll also touch at the end of today's video on the new arena changes. Try to get your thoughts on those in the comments below. So silver cost reduction for a whole month from May 6th to June 7th. We're having try to say that word. We're having the amount, we're cutting the amount of silver needed in half that it takes to remove or swap artifacts and accessories. That's it. Enjoy. It's a great time to fine tune your teams and test out some new gear combos. Enjoy. Well, listen, man, we're very happy with a month. Let's give credit where credit is due. This is huge, man. Like 50% off silver to swap artifacts and accessories is a very, very welcome change. It's a very welcome, I guess, gift to the player base. I use that in quotations. So is it enough? Well, it's enough for a month. I think for a month, this will solve a lot of silver issues. Granted, it would be cool to have maybe a couple days a month that we could swap artifacts just for free, you know, even one day a month, or maybe the last day of every week. That way we could use that time to experiment with new champions and new teams without having to take a huge hit in our, you know, proverbial Raid Shadow Legends pocketbook wallet, you know? So there we go. That's silver cost reduction. Listen, I am not going to complain about it. I'm very happy that they did this. I hope they decide to maybe extend this. How you guys doing in your clan versus clan? After losing our first one, it looks like we're going to, fingers crossed, there's still almost a day left. Looks like we're going to win this one. Ah, man, I'm kind of middle of the road in my clan. 152k points. And where are we on the milestone rewards? I think we'll get milestone 10 here, but I don't know, actually. That's going to be tough. We'll see if we do. I'll let you guys know in a future video. Let's get into the 10 times champions, guys. These are really, I mean, arguably it could be the best 10 times that we've seen before. Let's go through. I'm really tempted to pull. I want to start with like the best of the best. I'm not even going to mess around here. So one champion that I would love to get is Sathalia. Personally, she's the best that I don't have on this list. And she's one of the better champions in the game. She really is, guys. Great base stats. Look at that 108 base speed. We have an HP burn on the A1. On the A2, removes all debuffs from a target ally, then places a block debuffs. This is on a 2-turn cooldown and heals all other allies by 20% of their max HP and fills their turn meter by 15% if that first target is fully healed. Great ability on a 2-turn, right? And then on the A3, Aggress, we have a 100% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies on a 3-turn cooldown, then goes on to decrease their turn meter by 10%, and fills the turn meter of allies by 10%. Sorry for struggling there. I don't know. It's not that hard, Ash. All right, so Sathalia, man, really, really, really would love to get my hands on her. A very, very good champion. Next up is, arguably a better champion, at least in terms of all-around versatility inside the game, and it's Duchess Lilithu. So Duchess, man, she has a shield on her A1. On the A2, she has increased attack and block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. On a 4-turn cooldown, place a Perfect Veil on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. So you're getting that 2-turn Perfect Veil, block debuffs, and increase attack. She's bringing a lot to the table, and she has a great revival too. On a 4-turn cooldown, revives all dead allies with 70% HP. Perfect Veil on all allies except this champion for 1 turn. Continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. What a great ability, right? She put in the Veil, the continuous heal, and reviving everybody who's dead on 1 ability, and then decrease the damage taken by all allies from AoE attacks by 25%. Great for arena defense, great for anywhere in the game, 15% from bosses. She truly is a game changer, speed, aura as well. I mean, what else can I say about Duchess? She's one of the more, not recent, but I got her when I was already endgame, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And she still made an incredible difference on my account. If you're ever going to pull for a 10 times and you don't have Duchess, Sathalia or Maneater being the big prize, I'll get to in a second. This is worth it, guys. I think this one's worth it if you're inclined to pull, if you have shards you're sitting on, blah, blah, blah. Blind, I'll never tell you guys it's worth it to actually spend your real money, you know? Blind Seer. A1 is a 3-time hitter, maybe good for the new Fire Knight dungeon. On the A2, block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns, and then place a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. I've always said that Dark Shroud is an underrated ability. People won't talk about Blind Seer that often, and man, Dark Shroud is a great ability. You're getting 2 out of every 3 turns block debuffs, a great, great buff, and the shield. On the A3, revives all dead allies to 35% HP, place a block damage buff on all allies except this champion for 1 turn on a 5-turn cooldown. Fastest champion in the game at 115 speed, guys. And then increase defense in all battles by 34%. One of the best defensive auras in the game. Blind Seer is certainly underrated in the sense that you never see her at the top of tier lists. Never see her there. Really, really good champion. Worth your void shards because of Maneater. So, you know, if you're going to get Maneater or Blind Seer, maybe both of them, who knows? You know, you can make a strong case. All right, actually, we can go right back up to the top here. The next one is going to be 10 times for Maneater. You'll notice I don't have Sathalia or Maneater. Those are the only 2, and Septimus. Okay, Maneater, very, very good as well. Continuous heal on the A1. She's a companion champion to Coronar, who's a Void legendary champion. Attacks 1 champion on 3-turn cooldown, heals his champion and the ally with lowest HP by 10,000 HP. Also has a 100% chance of placing a heal reduction debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Interesting, unique skill in mending ways. On the A3, heals all allies by 40% of their max HP on a 4-turn cooldown. Places block debuffs for 2 turns on champions under increased defense buffs. If a champion is fully healed with this skill, places a shield on them for 2 turns, equal to 25% of the champion's HP. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 20% when this champion is killed. Revives this champion with 75% HP when killed if Coronar is on the same team. That's on a 4-turn passive cooldown. Speed in all battles by 19%. So Maneater, I think, is a great champion. Again, very fast, good base stats. Not as wanted for me as Sathalia, but a very, very good champion nonetheless. We've waited long enough here, guys. Let's get to the big fella. Let's get to him, man. It's Maneater. Dude. Right now, I mean, clan boss meta is everybody? Out of the 30 people in my clan, which is kind of an endgame clan, I guess we're endgame clan. We're top 200 in the 120 to 150 range is kind of where we fall. Not that that means anything, but just to give you a sense of like, you know, the accounts in my clan. I think that like 28 of us are using unkillable teams, right? And I imagine if you've been playing this game for a while, and if you have a Maneater or 2, then you are too, right? It's clan boss meta right now, at least. I think for the new Hydra clan boss, something tells me they will nerf not nerf, but they will make it immune to unkillable teams. But for now, with this clan boss, Maneater's really good outside of his unkillable teams too. He has an AoE decrease attack on all enemies if it's critical on an A1. Decrease attack AoE on all enemies? Really solid. Granted for 1 turn, but still. On the A2, we are fully depleting the target's turn meter and then fills this champion's turn meter equal to the amount the target loses on a 3-turn cooldown. Mentioned it in yesterday's video, but if you want to know more about steal turn meter versus deplete turn meter versus whatever, go ahead and check out the conversation I had with Murder Inc. a few days ago regarding Koltar, Armiger, and Royal Guard. On the A3, this is the big ability here. This champion receives damage, then places an unkillable buff and a block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns. And the damage he takes is negligible, right? So on a 5-turn cooldown, that's Maneater, man. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be pulling only for Maneater, or I should say primarily for Maneater. Like, give me Maneater, and that's all I'm looking for Void Shards, right? Okay, next is another one of my faves in terms of a Void option here. Maneater, Sky Touched, and Blind Seer. Dang. Sky Touch Shaman, one of the best healers in the game. I'm going to say she's like definitely top 5 in terms of sheer heals, next to like Rector Droth, next to Vrask as well in terms of sheer healing that they can put out. On the A1, AoE attack heals this champion if she has less than 50% HP, boost turn meter if she has more than 50% HP. So an AoE on the A1, On the A2, great for the arena ability. I run her in, I swap her in and out depending if I need her for Hegemon teams, for Tormund teams, for any crowd control teams, because she comes in, she removes those debuffs, you put her in an immunity set, basically. That also prevents her from putting this fear on herself, which we'll get to in a minute. Revive on death, block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. Very, very, very good, right? And then, only really one-upped by Cardial, right? Like, he was a recent addition to the game, and that revive on death cannot be removed on his ability, and I believe it's on a 3-turn, not a 4-turn. Bloodstained Ritual, though, damages his champion by 10% on max HP at the start of each turn, heals all allies except this champion equal to half of the lost HP, so you build her with a ton of HP as well, has a decrease, places a decreased speed on this champion for 1 turn at the start of each turn, also has a coin flip shot at placing a fear on herself, so again, immunity set for 3 turns in the arena at least will mitigate that fear that she's placing on herself, those debuffs. So there we go. HP in all battles by 25%. A solid aura on her as well. The next one is a guy who isn't, I don't know, is he awful? Let's go ahead and take a quick look at him. Where is this dude? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong. No wonder you can't find him there, Ash. You're looking in the wrong faction, bro. Quargon the Crowned. Okay, Quargon. Attack 1 enemy, 30% chance of increasing the duration of a random buff on a random ally by 1 turn. Heals all allies by 50% of their max HP and places a shield buff equal to 15% of their max HP on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Not a bad, but not the best shield ability we've seen, right? Now we're so spoiled by power creep, it's just like, yeah, that's all right. It's all right. Back in the day, it'd be like, what? An AoE shield on a 3-turn? What? Perfect Veil and increase attack buff for 2 turns on allies whose attack is higher than their defense. Increase attack and block debuffs buff for 1 turn on allies whose defense is higher than their attack on a 4-turn cooldown. I personally think he is a average to very slightly above average champion. I am not, super excited about him. The next guy, the last guy, is a guy I am excited about. I lean on him very heavily on my free-to-play account. He's a very unique champion in Achak the Wenderin. On the A1, has a chance of increasing the buff duration depending on if they're on HP burn or freeze or turn meter. A lot of books, guys. Yikes, right? Yikes. Plays a block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn and a strengthen on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. And then the A3, an AoE attack with the chance of freeze. Well, not a chance, a really good chance, 90% chance, plus Sniper 95 of placing a freeze debuff for, actually, that won't work on Sniper, my bad. 90% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn on enemies whose attack is higher than their defense. 90% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 1 turn on enemies whose defense is equal to or higher than their attack. So basically, whatever you need at the time, it's going to help you out there. A good champion for Spider, a good champion for really anywhere because, again, not only is he bringing the block debuffs and the strength in, but he also has a defense in all battles aura by 25% and this cool little passive. Heals all allies by 5% of their max HP every time an enemy under HP burn gets a turn. Solid. Fills a turn meter of allies by 10% every time an enemy under freeze debuffs gets a turn. You pair him with another freeze or another HP burn champion and you get kind of compounded interest off of this passive. Very, very cool. All right, guys. Compounded interest. You can tell I'm, staking all of my crypto today. Good day in the crypto market here. We'll give you a little crypto update at the end of every video. I kid. Although I'm tempted sometimes. All right, guys, here about the arena here, okay? So they say matchmaking adjustments. They acknowledge that the arena is a mess right now in the first paragraph. They didn't say it exactly like that, but you guys get what I'm saying. The changes will only concern tweaking matchmaking in bronze and silver tiers, so no solutions for gold. We'll be filtering the opponents in these tiers based by the player's account level and level as before, but the pairing in bronze will be configured in such a way that newbies, I take exception to that term, Plarium, newbies won't meet the teams way too much out of their depth. And will be able to steadily progress to silver. As for silver, naturally this tier will be more challenging than bronze, but the opponent selection will not be so harsh. As for gold, we do not filter opponents by their account power here and use only the current arena placements as the main criteria for picking the opponents. The tier will remain unchanged. Defensive battles will be implementing a flexible system to prevent players from being demoted to a lower tiers too quickly by losing on defensive battles in silver and bronze tiers. It is logical to assume the higher your tier, the greater the number of points you can potentially lose in the defensive battles. So there we go. We cannot reveal the exact date when these adjustments will come live. We are ready to tell you the approximate time of their release. Will happen shortly after version 4.2.0 or 4.2.0, and definitely not on the same day. So basically this week maybe. You can watch YouTubers to learn the strategies. If you still have a problem with it, blame the YouTubers. All right, guys, that's what we got there for the arena. Listen, I think the popular response to this is this emoji right here. I'm not using it. I'm just pointing to other people using it. That seems to be the most popular response to that. However, you know what? Listen, I'm going to be real. It's better than nothing for people in bronze and silver like me and my free-to-play account, you know? Basically, they're saying that people... inactive accounts, crappy accounts with one champion, whatever, will not be losing as many trophies. Thus, there'll be more of them to actually, attack wherever you are in silver or bronze. I personally think that gold should not be the most competitive place in the game for the arena. Gold should follow those same exact standards and those same exact rules. So, I'm left feeling, okay, good, but we want a little bit more, I guess, at the end of the day, but better than nothing, I guess, kind of situation. So, guys, I'm going to end it there. Let me know what you think of all of this stuff. I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned to a ton of more content here on the channel. Subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, all that crap that people tell you every single day and you never listen. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.